Okay, hey everybody. And those who are watching this on the replay, welcome. And I hope that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel because there's all kinds of goodness that we post there. We are thrilled tonight to have Lisa Benham, who is an executive with Young Living on our team, share about the raindrop technique. And this is something I've heard about a few times, but I want to wrap my brain around it fully and be able to offer it for my family. Have heard so many amazing, beautiful healing stories through this technique that has been developed by Gary Young and Young Living. So I know you're going to enjoy it. And Lisa, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm sure she'll have an opportunity for questions at the end. Unmute yourself, Lisa. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. So for everybody that's on here, I think pretty much everybody that's on here knows me, but if you're watching this later, watching the recording, I am Lisa Benham, and I'm a certified raindrop technique specialist through the CARE program, and I am working on getting my license. I still have one course to take in anatomy and physiology so that I can get my license to do this in a professional setting. But being certified basically means that I have had the training, I've passed the exam, and I have the skills to do this on friends and family. And anybody can do a raindrop on their friends and family, but the training itself, you get hands-on experience, you get the knowledge of the books and all the resources that are available to you, and you just acquire the knowledge that you need to be effective when you're doing it with your family and friends. So the training is really good. There is someone local who can do the training if anyone is interested, or someone that would like to have the actual training with all the resources. So what I'm going to basically go over tonight is the what is a raindrop, and then I'm going to go through the oils that are used in the raindrop and tell you the benefits of those oils and how they're used in the raindrop. So basically a raindrop is a way of applying essential oils on your back, feet, and spine in a feather stroking technique. So it aligns the spine, it supports your immune system, it supports overall wellness. And it was developed in the late 1980s by D. Gary Young, who we all know is our founder of Young Living. And he was working with the Lakota Indians. And what they would do is they would cross over to the Canadian border and they would raise their arms to the northern lights for the healing energy that come from the lights. So when they could no longer cross over that border, they found a way of using a feather and stroking it down the spine on their back to get that same healing energy. So Gary implemented that into the raindrop, and it is called a feather stroke technique. So raindrop is not technically a massage. There is some massage in it, but it is a technique that's used, feather stroking with your hands, that kind of feels like a feather down the spine of the back and on the feet. So when I do a raindrop, I typically do it with an attitude of prayer. So the person that I'm giving the raindrop to, I will ask them if it's okay if I pray with them, and that kind of sets the atmosphere. And it just basically means that you acknowledge that the oils are a way of facilitating for God's energy to just bring the healing and the balance into our lives by just starting out with that prayer. And so far, I've not had anybody say, no, don't pray for me or with me or whatever. So I always like to do that. So there is a lot of different versions of the raindrop technique. And I know if you look on the internet, you'll see all different ways of doing it. But Gary refined it to a specific set of oils with specific chemotypes in a specific sequence. So chemotype means different chemical types. So there are plants of the same genus and species which look identical, but they have different chemical compounds in them, different chemical components And that's due to the conditions of their growth, however they're grown, where they're grown, the climate and all of that. So Gary chose these specific oils for Young Living so that to achieve the purposes of the Raindrop. And so he wanted the very best oils just to kill off all the junk that's in our body. So that's why he chose these specific oils with these chemotypes. So I'm not a chemistry person. I hate chemistry. It was my worst class in high school, but there are 4 compounds in oils that I want to talk a little bit about, so you understand when I'm going through the oils, when I say this is high in this or that, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of other compounds, but these are the 4 that I want to talk about. So the first one is sesquiterpenes, and this is a compound that goes in and it actually scrubs the cells. It scrubs your cells clean. It gets rid of any junk that's in there. So if you've been taking a prescription drug, it'll go in there and it'll scrub that cell clean. And then the next one is the monoterpenes, and it actually reprograms that cell back to its natural DNA with the correct information. So the monoterpenes, we need these for healing. And if you want to know more about actual healing, there is a video, and I've watched it several times. It is called Ancient Secrets of Essential Oils. And Dr. Stewart is in there, talks about, I don't know if you know who Dr. Stewart is, but he's in there talking about the things of healing. And then there's scientists in there. So this is not just something that I'm saying or making up or out of my own knowledge, but I mean, there's scientific proof about all of this stuff. So there's also this book, The Chemistry of Essential Oils. Again, not my favorite thing to talk about, but there's a lot of great information in here. And then both of these are strong immune supporters, and they boost the body's natural defenses. I'll get this right in a minute. Then the other 2 compounds are phenols and esters, and the phenols are antimicrobial, and they clean the receptor sites. And then the esters, they're calming, they reduce stress, they are emotionally releasing. So all of these compounds combined do a lot of different things in the function of the Raindrop in the oils. So oils basically serve us on every level, like emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical, on all levels. And so with the Raindrop, you get all of those in that. So now I'm going to go through the oils in the order that I would apply them in a Raindrop, and just tell you a little bit about the oil, what it does for your body. So we start with Valor, and Valor balances the electrical frequencies in your body. So when I first start, I'll put Valor on you, and I will say a prayer with you and just try to get our body balanced to where we're calm and relaxed, and just set the tone for the rest of the Raindrop. And so Valor, actually, I love Valor. I have it on right now because I'm doing this. So, but Valor is a blend of spruce, blue tansy, frankincense, and rosewood in an almond oil base. So that's where we start. And so then the next 2 oils are kind of called the dynamic duo. They are oregano and thyme. And so oregano is one of the most powerful antimicrobial oils that we have. It is high in phenylpropanoids. So if you remember phenols, what they do, they cleanse the cell receptor sites, and it's very high in phenylpropanoids. Thyme is also very high in phenylpropanoids. So these are the scrubbers, the dynamic duo, I like to call them. They are antiseptic, immune enhancing, and they support the body's natural defenses. So that's our scrubbers. That's the first 2 oils. So then the next 3 oils are addressing the muscles, nerves, and bones. So basil relaxes the muscles. It's mentally energizing and invigorating, and it is high in phenolic esters. So you get that calming, relaxing feel from the basil. Then you've got wintergreen, and it supports your joints and your bones, your skeletal structure. And then the composition of wintergreen is more than 80% methyl salicylate. I always have a hard time with that word. And it's a phenolic ester, which has a cortisone-like effect in that it may stimulate the body's own production of natural cortisone, but it doesn't have the side effects of like a synthetic cortisone. So it also, and this I love about wintergreen, it has analgesic properties. So it basically has the chemical structure that is very similar to aspirin. So I love wintergreen. When it went out of stock, I literally had to have Chelsea go on to this trading place and trade some of my oils to get some wintergreen because I cannot be without it. So I had to get like 6 bottles of it because I thought, no, I can't be without that. But I love wintergreen. So then the next oil is marjoram, and it also relaxes the muscles and soothes the nerves, and it's used for migraines, it's antiseptic, it's antimicrobial, and it is about half monoterpenes. So those compounds that reprogram your cells back to their natural DNA that are so crucial to have. So a lot of this information, I have this 4th edition of the Essential Oils Desk Reference. And this is one of the things that I learned when I took the training, was that before the FDA changed the way we were able to talk about things and print things, the 4th edition desk reference has a lot of information in there that they could not publish after that edition. So that's why I got that edition. So that's just a good edition to have. And that has information in here about all these things that I'm talking about. So then also after the marjoram, there is a place in the Raindrop where you can add an oil of your choice. So I have a friend that I gave Raindrop to that had a specific condition that came up, and I'm going to tell you her story at the end of this, where I used a specific oil for a specific reason in this Raindrop. So for example, if you're having some respiratory problems, you can throw in RC or Raven or Thieves or something if you've got something specific going on, and you can add that oil in there. So there is a place in the Raindrop to do that. And then the last 2 oils, cypress, it addresses the cardiovascular system and the immune system. And it's a very mild oil. It's antimicrobial. It supports the circulatory and the lymphatic system. And it stimulates the body's natural white corpuscle production. Now, it is 76% monoterpenes. So that is extremely high in monoterpenes, which is, to me, that is just an amazing oil. And it's 14% sesquiterpenes. And then the last oil is peppermint, one of my favorites. Supports the digestive, the respiratory, and the nervous system. Peppermint is used for headaches. Research has shown that inhaling peppermint improves concentration and mental retention. So I need to use peppermint a lot. So it detoxes the liver. And it's a synergistic oil that amplifies all the previous oils used. So all the oils that we've already put on your body for the Raindrop, when we put that peppermint on and we put a hot compress on top of that, that just drives all those oils deep down into your body, and it just amplifies the effects and the benefits of all those oils. So all that, and there is clinical studies on peppermint. So when I'm talking about that you can use it for headaches, there's research. So it's not just coming from me, although I know it works because I use it for that. But so there's peppermint. That's the last oil that we put on. And then during the course of the Raindrop, there is a massage oil called Ortho Ease, and it contains base oils of coconut, grapeseed, wheat germ, almond, and olive oil, along with some essential oils: wintergreen, juniper, peppermint, lemongrass, marjoram, thyme, and vetiver. So this soothes muscles aches and minor swelling, and it has natural antioxidants in it. And so that part of the raindrop is massage. So we massage that all over your back. And then there's another oil called Aroma C's that we use, that is used on tight muscles. So like when we're doing the raindrop, like if a lot of times, I mean, most people, when I give them a raindrop, their muscles up around their neck and shoulders is extremely tight. So I'll put that Aroma C's on there and work that in. And that is a combination of basil, marjoram, lavender, peppermint, and cypress. So it's calming, it's relaxing, it relieves that tension and gets those muscles relaxed. So all together, there are 8 oils that we actually apply in a sequence, but all together with all the blends and everything that we use, there's about 15 oils that is represented in the raindrop, and 5 different carrier oils that are in the Ortho Ease. So that's how many different oils are used in this technique. So then along with the raindrop, we also use something called VitaFlex, and that is like reflexology. So you have, if you know anything about reflexology, there are places, VitaFlex or reflex points on your hands and on the bottom of your feet that represent the organs in your body. So when we're doing a raindrop, if we're going along the spine and we see some reaction to something, we can pretty well target what area there might be a problem with based on the reaction on the skin. And so when we're done with the raindrop, we can actually do VitaFlex to for a specific reason on a specific organ if there's a specific problem. And so we can use the VitaFlex to target that area of the body. Let's see. Okay. So basically the oils in the raindrop are applied with a feather stroke, and I'll kind of show you what that is next week. And that's a technique along the back of the spine that starts from your skull and it goes all the way down to your tailbone. And then between all the vertebrae in there, there's nerves that go out to all the organs of the body. So when you're doing the VitaFlex and especially the raindrop, that's when you can tell if there's a problem, like I told you with if you have an irritation of the skin or something, where you can target it with the VitaFlex. So basically, you can see that having a variety of oils applied in the unique manner that's done in the raindrop, every organ and tissue in the body is pretty well addressed, not to mention our emotions and our electrical fields of our body. So it's no wonder that these oils address such a wide spectrum of issues. And again, all this information is not just coming from me, but from these books. All that information is in there. And people have been had relief from dozens of different kinds of maladies. And in the training that I took, I heard so many testimonies and things of people that had issues that the raindrop just took care of. And it just has blown my mind. So the other thing that happens when you get a raindrop, which is I couldn't believe it, but the first raindrop I got, usually with it aligning your spine, before you do a raindrop, I will measure you. And when you get done with the raindrop, I will measure you again. And most people typically have, I don't want to say grown because they've not actually grown, but it straightens their spine. And so anywhere from 1/8 of an inch to 1/2 an inch, you'll see differences in their height when they get done. And people are just blown away by that. So I think that's kind of interesting. So the story that I want to tell you about is a friend of mine that I was giving her a raindrop once a month. And she went to the doctor to get her mammogram. And when she went, they found a mass in her breast that was the size of a golf ball. And so they wanted to send her to Brown Cancer Center to have it biopsied, but it was going to be like 6 weeks before she could get in or have her appointment. And so I was already giving her a raindrop once a week because she had a lot of autoimmune issues and different things going on. And so I had already been doing that. And so when she told me that, I told her, I said, we're going to do a raindrop once a week. And so we did that for the next 6 weeks until she went to her appointment. And when she got done with her appointment, she called me and she said, "You're not going to believe this." She said, "I know that you are going to want to hear this. I had to call you right now." And I said, "What?" And she said, "When they did the exam, they told me that that mass was so small that they couldn't even see it." She said, they told me to just go home and come back in a year and we'll check it." And I'm like, praise the Lord, you know? So I was just so blessed and excited for her. And can I prove that the raindrop did that? No, I can't. Do I believe that the raindrop did that? Yeah. Does she? Yeah, we do. So, you know, it was just an answer to prayer. I mean, it was just a blessing. So, everything that I've talked about, I know we've talked a little bit about healing and medicinal properties of the oils. And so just for your reference to know that these things are all referenced in these books that I showed you. And as far as the training that I took, if anybody is interested in that training, I can certainly get you in touch with Tanya. She does trainings here locally. And like I said, I've been through it twice. It's very enlightening when you go through the training, and it is nice to be able to give a raindrop to someone in your family, even if you don't want to get your license, if you just want to be able to have the knowledge and the skills and be able to give that to someone, especially when something happens that you really feel like it would benefit them hugely. The training is good to have. And so, you know, if you have any questions about that, I'll be glad to answer. And if you have any other questions, I'll try to answer them. And if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know and I'll find out.
Amazing, Lisa. I want to tell my testimony of when you did a raindrop on me. And I'll make it quick because I know we do have several questions that people want to ask. I was doing a master cleanse a couple of years ago. And as part of the master cleanse, you end up cleansing and detoxing, and not just physical stuff, but emotional and spiritual stuff. And I felt like I had this, maybe it'll sound weird to you, but this heavy spirit, or this spirit of irritation that was just, it landed on me and I couldn't get it to go away at the beginning of this master cleanse. And it lasted several days. And I knew that stuff was cleansing out of me, and it was emotional and spiritual as well. So I called Lisa and I said, "Would you be willing to do a raindrop on me as part of this master cleanse process?" And again, I've been dealing with this, whatever it was, heaviness for several days. And she was so gracious and did the raindrop in her home, prayed with me, prayed over me. And I left that raindrop and I was light again. The darkness was gone. That spirit of irritation and heaviness was gone. And I finished the cleanse with happiness and joy and light. And I know for sure that raindrop was part of the process of helping to cleanse things out. So I'm super grateful for that. Suzanne says, if you don't have someone close by to do raindrop, what are your thoughts on combining all the oils in a roller and applying to the spine?
Well, I do that too. And Mary Young does not approve of that. But I say, what can it hurt? I mean, I do it. I put it on my feet, and I actually VitaFlex it into my feet. And I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not the actual raindrop, but it's not going to hurt anything. The raindrop is obviously going to be a better option if you can do that. But if you can't, yeah, what's it going to hurt?
If someone has not been to the special training, but they've read about it, they have the raindrop kit from Young Living, they've researched it some, can they try it on their family at home if there's a need? What's the rules there, or your thoughts on that?
Anybody can do a raindrop. And the thing is, I mean, the training is very beneficial. I don't know that I would want to try to do it, because you can put the oils on. Well, it's just like my friend with MS. Like, there were things that I had to learn to do differently with her. And I mean, I don't know that I would want to try it without having the knowledge that comes from having the training, the hands-on training, and the knowledge because there are so many different ways of doing it. And this is the way that Gary perfected that is truly the best way to do it. And there are so many different ways out there when you're looking at books and looking at the internet and all of that. So,
yep.
And I'd be glad to teach anybody that wants to know. I mean, just what I know. Of course, I'm not really qualified to teach. So, you know.
I know a lot of lay people will do Raindrop, say if there's a virus that's going around in their family, and they just apply the oils to their family and
Right.
the way that you're going to teach us next week.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. I think Jeannie had a question or comment. You'll need to unmute yourself. If anyone else has questions that they want to put in the chat, please feel free or be prepared to unmute yourself here in a minute.
My question is, on your friend with the lump in her breast, was there a specific oil that you added to the combination, that oil of choice?
I forgot to tell you, it was frankincense.
Ah, good one.
It was frankincense.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have other questions or comments? Suzanne, do you have experience with receiving raindrops? You're muted. I don't know if you want to share or not.
I do, and the raindrop is what changed my perspective on the issues that were going on with my hip. And that's when I first noticed a change. And then, of course, I changed up some oils, some supplements. I have used the raindrop in a bottle. Lisa gave me the recipe for the right number of drops for that. But through all that process, I was able to cancel that surgery 2 years later. So, and that surgery was going to be grafting and reconstruction of a hip that I'd had hip replacement on like 33 years ago. So that raindrop made a difference.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I love it. You know, God knew what he was doing when he made these plants, and he made our bodies, and he's given such insight about how to use them for that abundant life that he's planned for us. Right. I can tell you, when the smell of a raindrop is, I don't even know if there's a word for it. So soothing, relaxing, beautiful, all those oils together. It's phenomenal. Really, really is. I love it. Anybody else have any other questions? Yes, Suzanne?
It's good for the person applying it too.
Yes.
It just is, you know, you get a goodness out of it yourself because it's going through those fingers and your palms of your hands. So
absolutely. So fascinating. Lisa, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, I can't think of anything. I'll just work on trying to figure out how to do a demo for next week. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that, but we'll figure it out.
I've been thinking about that too. Maybe we can brainstorm some ideas. Because a lot of us are visual people, and we can take notes all day, but I need to see the actual movement to know how we're going to do that. So we will figure that out for sure.
You'll have to come here and I'll just have to give you a
we have volunteers, yes, for being the patient. Pick me. You'll have a line of people wanting it. Well, thank you everybody for being on here tonight. I hope that you've learned some things, you've been inspired. I know I have. This is just kind of rekindled my love for these oils, this company, our founder and pioneer, and ultimately the Lord for what he has designed for our goodness. So this will be in the YouTube library later this evening. Feel free to share that with anybody who has questions about Raindrop. Lisa, you did a phenomenal job of describing what it was and the oils involved and casting the vision for what it could offer. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.